Welcome, ZASLOW Show 2.0. It is a Wednesday, the 10th of January. Good to have you aboard. Part of the Believe Podcast Network and presented as always by Anidjar and Levine Accident Attorneys. 800-747-FREE, 800-747-3733. Got a fun show planned for everybody. We're right smack in the middle of the week, but that's okay. We got alternating days here of Heat one night, Panthers one night. Well, that's keeping us busy during the week, and we're all leading up to Super Wild Card Weekend. That's right. 2 games Saturday, including the Dolphins, 3 games Sunday, and Monday Night Football. Remember last year, I think it was the first time ever that you had Monday Night Football as part of Wild Card Weekend, Monday Night Football playoff game. So very cool. The NFL's all over the place. 6 wild card games this weekend. That's why it's called Super. That's why it's Super Wild Card Weekend. And with the NFL playoffs right here, NBA's in full swing, NHL's going on, Bet Online has you covered with all the up-to-the-second odds, news, and scores. With additional odds, lines, trends, and info on both desktop and mobile, you can access the world's best wagering information anytime. Head there today, get into the action, see all the updated odds. Remember to use promo code BELIEVE, B-L-E-A-V, to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet Online, where the game starts. So, got an update, I guess, right, to yesterday's show where I told you guys. So, I agreed to plans with my wife, which, like, I love making plans with my wife. And I don't have an issue when, we're going out with some of her co-workers from school, couples, I don't know many people, 6A, I'm not the social chick, I don't know. And so I agreed to it a few weeks ago. All right, whatever, January 13th, Saturday night. And then we find out, of course, a couple nights ago, yeah, January 13th, Saturday night, Dolphins game, 8 p.m. So I got a problem, right? And I brought this up to my wife 2 nights ago, and I told you guys about this yesterday. What do? Well, I got a couple choices. I could either bail on her, which, I mean, I can, but it's probably not a good idea. That's not going to earn me any points. Or I can hope that we don't have the time yet for dinner. Maybe dinner's at 6:30. I would guess I'm the youngest one going to this dinner. So I'm going to be 43 this month. Holy shit. I would guess I'm the youngest one going to this dinner. So it's reasonable to believe that, I don't know, maybe it's a 6 or 6:30 dinner. We're going to Louis Bossy in downtown Fort Lauderdale. That place is awesome. Anyway, if it's like 6 or 6:30, all right, I'm not going to listen to the Dolphin game in the car. Jimmy Cephalo on play-by-play, you don't have a clue what's happening, all right? But I can watch the first quarter if I have to on my phone. I got Peacock. I got the Peacock app. I'll watch the cock on my phone. Let's not get crazy. So I'll watch the first quarter on my phone. No big deal. And my wife then decides she's gonna ask yesterday, hey, what time we doing dinner? Dinner, 8 p.m. What? I mean, I was thrown for a loop. I thought maybe 7 o'clock, the latest it would be. 8 p.m.? I mean, I get it, it's Saturday night, but we're not young anymore. 8 p.m.? Dolphin game starts at 8 p.m. So I just told my wife, I said, now, I'm not bailing. I think when you get to my age, this kind of stuff matters. It changes how much this kind of stuff matters. And what I mean by that is, this version of me 15 years ago would have straight up told her, I'm not going, you're on your own, I'm staying home, I'm watching the game. ZASLOW in his 20s would not be anywhere but the couch in the ZASLOW Mansion family room watching the Dolphin game. This Jonathan ZASLOW, almost 43 years old, this point in my life, I can weigh the value of certain things differently. And we obviously also have the technology. I'm not going to bother pissing off my wife and sending her alone. Everyone else is going to have their husband there. I'm not sending her alone. So I told her, I said, listen, excuse me, a younger version of me would not go. I'm going to go, but I'm going to have the Dolphin game on my phone the whole time. And, I think it's a little bit different where if you're watching a hockey playoff game or even a basketball playoff game, there's constant action. With the football, there's so much downtime, obviously in between each play, but depending on where they are in the field, I can lift my head up, have a conversation, look back down, and still talk. Like, I could be involved in what's going on around me and also totally be into the football game. Plus, I kind of like the idea we're going to have good food in front of us while I'm watching the Dolphin game. And we're going to have drinks flowing while I'm watching the Dolphin game. I certainly like that. So, I'm going to the dinner. I know a lot of you guys are probably listening like, ZASLOW, I can't believe you're going. I'm going to be fully invested in the game. It's just going to be on my phone. Now, I do wonder if part of it, like if the Dolphins won last week, they win the division, 2 home playoff games. Now, I know you'd be saying, oh, ZASLOW, then they wouldn't be playing Saturday night because the Chiefs were always locked in to that Saturday night game on Peacock. Forget about that part. What if the Dolphins were at home and we're super excited because of the way they played and they don't have all the injuries and it feels still like the Dolphins are a Super Bowl contender, which, let's be honest, it doesn't feel like the Dolphins are a Super Bowl contender. Would I feel differently? I think the answer is no, because I think I'd be even more willing to watch the game on my phone out at dinner, because if we felt so great about, or if I felt so great about the team, let me just speak for myself, not you guys. I think a lot of you guys probably think I'm crazy. You're probably right. I'll speak for myself here. I think I would probably be less inclined to skip the dinner because I'd feel like, all right, like if the Dolphins were hosting Pittsburgh, let's say, this weekend, I feel like we'd kick the shit out of them. So I'll watch on my phone. That's cool. Be up 24-7 in the third quarter. It's all good. I won't be nervous or anything like that. This scenario, I'm probably going to be nervous in the second half, full of angst, all kinds of anxiety, and maybe even pissed off that they're losing in the second half of this game, and the season has totally gone to shit, and it's a massive failure of a season which already feels like a dud because we were hoping that they were going to be a Super Bowl contender, and because of the injuries mainly, they're not. So that's what I got going on this Saturday night. I'm going to be out. The Dolphins, they've appeared in the postseason 3 times in the last 15 years. And I am going to be watching the game on my phone at Louis Bossy Saturday night. I know none of you had that on your bingo card. It is what it is. What am I going to do? At this point in my life, that's mature, right? If you're listening to me right now, like, ZASLOW, you're a very mature guy. You're also a pretty decent husband. Why, thank you. Yes, I am. Maybe there's going to be magic had in the ZASLOW Mansion master bedroom bed. Maybe the magic happens and the Dolphins previously won right before. I mean, how about that night? Maybe I'm the big winner. We go to dinner. I do the thing for my wife. The Dolphins win, and then she does the thing for me. I mean, Saturday night might turn into a great night. Or the Dolphins are playing like shit. I have a major attitude. I'm a huge bummer to be around, and I'm sleeping on the couch. And that's the opposite. It's one or the other. 50-50 chance. So let's start things off here. We'll circle back to the Dolphins. Let's start things off here with your Florida Panthers. How about your favorite little hockey team? They sweep the 5-game road trip. That's right. The Panthers get all 5 games on this road trip. They have now won 8 consecutive games. 8-game win streak for your favorite little hockey team. Now remember, this is coming on the heels of they had lost 4 out of 5, all right? And they were hitting the toughest part of their schedule all season. Panthers have lost 4 out of 4 in December. They've lost 4 out of 5 games after losing to the Blues 4-1 at home. I was at that game. I'm 0-2 at Panther games. 0-3. I saw them lose to Vancouver, Winnipeg, and St. Louis. All Western teams. I'm not going to Western teams anymore as the Panthers host them the rest of the season. I got to go see an Eastern Conference team. I'm 0-3. Panthers have lost 4 out of 5. And then, how about this stretch of games? They're hosting Vegas, at Tampa, hosting the Rangers. Very tough stretch. And what do they do? What do? They win all 3 of those games. And they also win against Montreal. So then they head out on the road. And they take all 4 of the games. I said 5. All 4 of the games on this trip. Arizona, 4-1. Vegas, 4-1. Colorado, 8-4. And last night, they're in St. Louis to try and sweep this trip, looking for an 8th consecutive victory against the Blues. Early in the game, it's Anthony Stolarz in between the pipes. Bobrovsky's got the night off. He deserves it. He's earned it. Panthers are down 1-0 about 3.5 minutes into the game. And, streaks are going to come to an end at some point. It's the end of a road trip. It's a very tough game. You don't know how the team's going to play. You don't know how they're going to respond. They're down 1-0. And then late in the first period, that 4th line for the Panthers starting to come together.
Bobrovsky won the first 3 on the road trip. Lockwood speeding it after it and gets there. Centering feed. Gazovich is stopped by Hofer. Chance in front for Stenlin. And he scores. And the Panthers have tied it. The Stenlin line comes through.
Kevin, that 4th line, Stenlin, Lomberg, Lockwood. Lockwood had a couple chances, including right there. Stenlin cleans it up. Excellent pass from, it was Gazovich, right? Who made the pass, I believe. So 1-1 Panthers there after 1 period. And then, late in the second period, Panthers take their first lead of the night.
1-man advantage continues for another half a minute. Tkachuk in front, Reinhart scores again! Tkachuk sets him up! And Sam Reinhart's got 29 goals now! Panthers lead for the first time tonight.
11 goals in the last 8 games, 6 of them on the power play.
9th goal of the season for Sam Reinhart. He's fucking awesome. Everybody knows that. So the Panthers go into the third period up 2-1. Now, Matthew Tkachuk, his family's there. His father, Keith Tkachuk, who played 5 seasons? Yeah, I think he played 5 seasons for St. Louis. If you don't know, and you should by now, Keith Tkachuk was a really good player. He's over 500 career goals. He scored 50 goals, I think, twice in his career, both times with Arizona. He was still really good by the time he got to St. Louis. Played most of his career, played 5 years in St. Louis, 4 years in Phoenix. I think also 4 years in Winnipeg. No, his best years weren't Arizona, excuse me. Best years were Winnipeg. He had a 50-goal season in Winnipeg. Then he went to Arizona and then St. Louis. So anyway, still a really good player by the time he got to the Blues. So the Tkachuk family is popular there, and the family, the father, the mother, they live there in St. Louis. So they're at the game, and Matthew Tkachuk, a few games ago, he's starting to heat up. He gets his first goal, the first goal of the night.
Moving in against Colton. Bennett goes to the net. He's got the trail over Hagee. Back for Tkachuk. He scores! Tkachuk ka-ching! Red hot Matthew Tkachuk makes it 3-1. Back home in St. Louis.
So he's officially hot now. He gives the Panthers some real breathing room. They're up 3-1 now in the third period. And like I said, he's now finally gotten going. It was only a week ago he was still sitting on 4 goals on the season. That was his 8th goal of the year. Like I said, he's been hot lately. Then he gets the deflection on the shot from the point.
Keeps the work going. Finds Forsling. He looks, he shoots, he scores! Gustav Forsling! The Panthers have added to it. It's 4-1.
Tkachuk was out in front with the screen. Did he get a piece of that or not? Either way.
So Tkachuk, he gets his second, and that's right, he did get a piece of it. Forsling gets the assist. So a pair of goals now for Tkachuk. The Blues pull the goalie. It's 4-1. Now, there's a fan at the game who Tkachuk acknowledged at one point during the game. The camera was on him, and they showed Matthew Tkachuk, and he was looking across the ice, and he kind of gave like a thumbs up, and he nodded his head. There was a fan sitting on the glass with a sign. Matthew Tkachuk, please score a hat trick for me. With the empty net, Tkachuk does just that.
Stolarz another save. Here's Tkachuk. Empty net. He shoots. Tkachuk ka-ching! He's got the hat trick. And there's the sign from that Panther fan. There's the hat on the ice. Oh, what a night St. Louis for number 19.
How about that? So finally, Matthew Tkachuk gets going. He gets the hat trick. Panthers win 5-1. Tkachuk's got 10 goals now on the season. And now, Panthers win 5-1. They've won 8 in a row. Think about how dangerous this team is now. Reinhart's having a career year. And Tkachuk has finally gotten going. And guess what? The Panthers now, with 8 consecutive wins, their overall record, 26, 12, and 2. They are 2 points back of first overall in the conference behind Atlantic Division leader Boston and also behind Metro Division leader New York. So they're they're tied with the Rangers. So they're third overall technically in the conference. Well, no, I should say third overall. They're tied for second overall. They're 2 points back at number 1 overall, and they are rolling. This Panthers regular season, and by the way, these games that I just listed for you, the road trip, 4-1 over Arizona, 4-1 over Vegas, 8-4 over Colorado, 5-1 over St. Louis. 2 of those teams, St. Louis and Arizona, they're above average. And the other 2 teams, Vegas and Colorado, are awesome. And the Panthers kicked the shit out of all 4 of them. 3-goal win over Arizona, 3-goal win over Vegas, 4-goal win over Colorado, 4-goal win over St. Louis. That's what I'm talking about. So the Panthers are back home on Thursday for a 5-game homestand. LA, New Jersey, Anaheim, they're one of the worst. Detroit, and Minnesota. So 3 of those games are against tough enough teams. Nothing crazy. Actually, how long is this homestand here? Oh, you know what? This homestand's going to take them into the All-Star break. That's what it is. So how about this? The Panthers, all right, they have... Oh, excuse me. They got a few games in between that and the All-Star game. But they have a very home-heavy schedule. They're playing 5 consecutive home games coming up. And then at the beginning of February, they have a really big homestand, which will be a total of 1, 2, 3. They have 3 more home games in a row to start February. So take advantage of a home schedule. And the overall point I'm trying to make here, and the Heat are included also, how much more fun is this regular season for the Panthers and the Heat than last year's regular seasons? As far as the Panthers go, last year's regular season was a nightmare. Paul Maurice, that's my dog now, but he wasn't my dog last year. He was the murderer of fun. Everybody knows that. Last year's regular season was such a massive struggle for this Panther team. It was so disappointing. Last year's Heat regular season was a massive struggle. They were under 500 most of the year. They were they're the 7th seed, and then they lose the first play-in, and they got to win a play-in game that they were trailing with 2 minutes left against Chicago just to qualify for the postseason. So 2 very difficult regular seasons go on to have 2 of the most memorable postseasons. But compare that to now. But the Panthers are having a really fun regular season. And I think the Heat are having a really fun regular season too, because while it does bother me, all the games missed by Jimmy Butler, I think he's missed 11 games so far. All the games missed by Jimmy Butler, all the games missed by Caleb Martin, even Tyler Hero earlier up. But, that part's annoying. But watching Jaquez Jr., Duncan Robinson's resurgence, and even the season that Tyler Hero's having right now. I love what Kevin Love is doing off the bench. Josh Richardson. And now, maybe Niko Jovic is going to be the next guy that we're focused on. There are things going on with the Heat right now that I think... And look, they're 21-15. They're 5th in the Eastern Conference right now. They're having a fun little season, which, by the way, there have been a bunch of road games early on in the season and no Jimmy Butler for, what are we talking about? A third of the season so far. No Tyler Hero for, 8 or 9 games in a row that he missed. So think about that. Jimmy's going to be back eventually. The Heat are going to have more of a home-heavy schedule in the second half. And they're 5th in the East sitting at 21-15. This regular season for both the Panthers and the Heat, so much more satisfying. So they were unwatchable last year's regular season. I'm having fun right now. So, as you can tell, I'm obviously in a really good mood about the Panthers last night. The Heat tonight, they're taking on Oklahoma City, but the big talk with the Heat, your boy Erik Spoelstra. How about Erik Spoelstra signs the richest contract ever for a head coach in North American sports? 8 years, the most guaranteed money, total money, not necessarily yearly, because I think Popovich may make a little bit more on a yearly basis, even though his team has like 2 wins this year, and he can't do shit without a star player on his team. Hey, Pop, go take some notes from Erik Spoelstra on how to coach a team that doesn't have a Hall of Fame player, okay? Erik Spoelstra, 8 years, and by the way, there's a reason why this came out, because it is the most money ever guaranteed to a head coach in North American sports. Because think about this. Erik Spoelstra has been the coach of the Heat for 16 years. When have you ever heard how much money he makes? When have you ever heard how many years they signed him to? It's always Erik Spoelstra and the Heat have quietly agreed to a new contract, quietly agreed to a contract extension. You never hear the numbers. You know it now. 8 years, $120 million. So he's getting on average, what are we talking here? $15 million a season. And we have those numbers for the first time ever with an Erik Spoelstra contract from the Heat, because it's the richest contract ever given to a head coach in North American sports. Good for him. Best coach in the NBA. Hall of Fame coach. And yes, LeBron, you want to talk about coaches can be, why are coaches Hall of Famers while they're active and players aren't? Spo still got to wait. Okay? LeBron can retire right now. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame before Erik Spoelstra. Spo still got about 8 or 9 years left before he's eligible. All right? Best coach in the NBA. Obviously deserved. I'm glad the numbers are out so everybody can talk about what a great coach he is. And here's also the thing. This dude, because now I haven't spoken to him in a few years because of COVID, and then I'm not doing the Heat broadcast anymore. But I got to know him a little bit over the 13 years. Obviously talked to him a ton. I was doing the coaches show with him every home game. And if I could tell you, he is as normal a dude. He is as regular and everyday dude as there is. Just nothing fancy about him. Nothing big time about him. No self-importance. He is just completely normal and just a good dude. I loved my time around him. He was very kind to me. Hell, when I had that procedure done on my heart, which was almost 4 years ago, he reached out and said, now this, no, COVID had not happened yet, but he reached out while I was at home because I had to miss a little bit of time, sent me a text message. I didn't even know he had my number. I'm sure he didn't. I'm sure he asked somebody. But he sent me a message checking in on me. I don't know that many other coaches are doing that, And at any events that I would run into him, Heat-related events, just as nice and as normal a guy as can be. And not that Pat Riley, is not normal if you run into him, but it's Pat Riley. And there's an aura of, that guy's better than you. That's not his fault. But with Erik Spoelstra, just always comes off as the most normal guy. Hall of Fame basketball coach one day. But as far as a person, just genuine and super decent. And I love that the numbers are out there so everybody can acknowledge what a great coach he is, and there's a reason why that he got this contract. And it's so funny. It also shows, the way the Arison family runs the organization, the way Pat Riley runs the organization. It just shows you, Erik Spoelstra, he's been the coach for 16 years, I think it is now. His first year was in 08-09. So, yeah, that's 16 years. This is 16th season. It just shows you, how important the stability is. This Heat team, since Erik Spoelstra became coach, has been to the finals 6 times. 6 finals appearances in the previous 15 years. It's amazing. And other Eastern Conference finals appearances. 6 finals appearances in the previous 15 years. 2 of them post LeBron, if you want to do it like that, obviously. Oh, yeah, LeBron. 2 of them in years that no one thought they should be making the finals. Let me know the year Greg Popovich made the finals in a year no one thought they would. I'll be waiting forever. But Erik Spoelstra, and back to Pat Riley and Mickey Arison and the stability that they've created with this organization and how important it is to have a coach who everyone knows that's the guy. I mean, LeBron James went to Pat Riley and wanted a coaching change, and Pat Riley essentially told him to fuck off. And it's amazing. This was always interesting to me, right? Especially during that time period where some Heat fans would want Pat Riley to fire Erik Spoelstra. You all think Pat Riley is so amazing, right? Rightfully so. You all think Pat Riley is so amazing. Well, you think Erik Spoelstra should be fired. Pat Riley, who you think is so amazing, an incredible coach, does not believe that Erik Spoelstra should be fired. Do you think you know more than Pat Riley? You want Erik Spoelstra to be fired. Pat Riley's not going to do it. You don't understand. Well, why do you have so much respect for Pat Riley? Because he's an amazing coach, right? Pat Riley thinks that Erik Spoelstra's the right guy. Like, isn't that enough for you? That he's got Pat Riley's vote of confidence? And you see what it has turned into. I remember in the first year of the Big Three, in the first year LeBron was here, and it wasn't when they were 9-8. This is Erik Spoelstra's third year as head coach. It wasn't when they were 9-8. It was late in the season. It was in March, and they had lost 5 in a row. They'd lost games to the Bulls, to the Magic, to the Lakers, to the Blazers. I don't remember who the fifth team is. It may have been the Knicks. I think it was the Knicks. Lakers, Knicks, Magic, Blazers, Bulls. They lost 5 in a row. They may have all been at home, too, by the way. This was in March. And I think this was also the game where we later found out Chris Bosh was in tears in the locker room. There was so much pressure that first year. But I remember after that 5th consecutive loss, and it was a home game, and it was another game they blew. I think it was a game against the Bulls. It was very close. And we wrapped up the broadcast, and I said to Crotty, hey man, you think coach can get fired? There was so much noise around the team at the time. So much pressure. Any other coach would have been fired in that spot with the expectations this team had. I said, hey, you think the coach could get fired? And John said, and like, I thought it was crazy for me to even ask that. And John said, I don't know. And the reason I'm telling you this is because for me to even ask, and for Crotty to have even that answer full of doubt, shows you most franchises, if not all other franchises, would have pulled the plug on Spoelstra at that point. But that's not how this franchise operates. The players are not in charge. The media is not in charge. The fans aren't in charge. Pat Riley, Mickey Arison, they know what Erik Spoelstra it was and was going to turn into as well. And they were never going to fire him. And look where we are now. 2 championships, 6 finals appearances. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame soon enough and just signed the richest contract in the history of North American coaching. It's a real credit to the organization and obviously to the guy who deserves all that credit, being Erik Spoelstra. Obviously, I'm a massive fan and I'm super, super happy for him. Really, really great stuff. Yeah, so, and I, like I said, I like that the numbers are out there so he can get the flowers. So everyone could talk about how amazing he is. And I should also add, it was Ron Rothstein who told me, and this is in the latter years of the Big Three, maybe it's afterward. And he said Rothstein loves him, obviously. He was on his staff for a little bit. And Rothstein said that Rothstein was an assistant coach under Chuck Daly. Think about that, all right? And Ron told me he has never seen a coach in the history of the league that handles the pressure better than Erik Spoelstra. He's been around the greats. Chuck Daly. He has never seen a coach who handles the pressure and blocks out the noise the way Coach Spoelstra does. The best. The best.